Welcome to UK Spouse Visa, UK Immigration with Barrister Shazia Anjum. I have shown you in my previous program how to complete online application form, and in this video I'm going to tell you how to complete your Appendix 2. Do you know how many types of documents you will need to enclose in terms of your successful spouse visa application, United Kingdom? So let me tell you one thing. Unless until you enclose the right types of documents, your applications may not be successful. So in this video, in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly what type of documents you will need in terms of your UK spouse visa application, how you can claim exemptions from financial requirements, and also you will need to show your English language proficiency. I'm also going to show you how to complete Appendix 2 form, which is the most important form for your UK spouse visa application. Many people don't know about this form, and specifically if you are applying by yourself without the need of your legal representative, it is very important to understand the concept of your Appendix 2 form. I'm going to show you exactly the process, the procedure, and the answers you are going to mention in your Appendix 2 form, which will show your spouse, for example, British spouse income, and also which will show your English language requirement, when you have met with your sponsor. All these extra informations which are key points in your UK spouse visa application, I'm going to tell you in my today's video. So make sure you watch this video until the end if you are really interested to apply for your spouse visa. Also, I will invite you to join my UK spouse visa immigration group, where you will find many useful information and useful network in terms of applying successfully for your UK spouse visa. So let's get started. First of all, let me tell you two more important things, that if you really want to ask any live question, so this is a live show, you can also type your questions in the comment below, and then I will make sure that you get your answers. So let's have a look who have joined us in Facebook also, and then we will start completing this form, and then I'm going to tell you what kind of answers you will need to enclose. Okay, so first thing is going to be, so let's get started. We have joined by Rana Yusuf Advocate, Jawad Ahmed. Rana Yusuf Advocate, he has actually answered twice. So many other people, Fazi Malik, as all of you, thank you so much to this show, but this is specifically for those people who are spouse of a British person and want to come to the United Kingdom and join to your spouse in the United Kingdom. So let's get started. First of all, I'm going to tell you the documents what you will need to enclose with your UK spouse visa application. Many people, they don't understand the concept of the documents. For employment people, let's get started from people who actually receive carers allowances and who are exempted from meeting financial requirement of £18,600. So when we talk about £18,600 and you are receiving your carer allowances, okay, first of all you will need to enclose your letter from DWP, Department of Work and Pension, which proves and which shows how much allowances you are receiving from DWP department. Because sometimes people are disabled. Sometimes if you are receiving any PIP, payment protections, income support, then you will be exempted from meeting £18,600 requirement. If you are receiving carers allowances as a British person, then you will be exempted from meeting £18,600 requirement, you will need your bank statement which can prove that you have been receiving your carers allowances, or you have been receiving your PIP payment. And also bank statement will show, it doesn't have to be 6 months, it doesn't have to be 12 months. Make sure you enclose your bank statement which can prove even single payment. According to immigration rules United Kingdom, even if you can show your single payment within your account, that will be helpful and that will prove your case. So you are enclosing your bank statement, you are enclosing DWP letter. Also you will need to show maintenance. Now, what is maintenance? Maintenance means £114. Make sure you note down this point. This is very important. £114 per week you need to earn, you need to receive as your carers allowance, or as being on a PIP payment. So if you are receiving £114 every week, then you meet the maintenance requirement. You don't have to meet £18,600 requirements, because you are receiving carers allowances, you are receiving PIP payment. So certain people are exempted from meeting financial requirement, but it doesn't mean you don't have to show anything. It means you still have to show your maintenance requirement, which will be £114 on weekly basis. If you are not receiving this amount of money, then your application will be refused. So make sure you receive proper advice. If you need to talk to me, you can book a call. You will find a link below in this description box where you can just make a booking. Make a booking with myself, and also you will receive further guidance and further advice how to meet your financial maintenance if you are receiving your carers allowances, if you are receiving your PIP payment. So the second thing will be about your accommodation requirement. So for accommodation requirement, you will need your accommodation report, you will need your accommodation reports mean housing report. You will still need your tenancy agreement or title deed. Also you will need to receive a letter, consent letter. If this accommodation does not belong to yourself, you will need to receive a consent letter from the person who owns this property. So for accommodation you will need these 3 documents, and for showing your maintenance, you will need your bank statement, your DWP letter, and also your £114 that you are receiving from DWP department. So next thing will be about your relationship documents. So if you are receiving carers allowances, or if you have been divorced before, you will need to enclose your divorce certificate, you will need to enclose your current marriage certificate. Every document must be in English language. If your documents are not in English language, you must get it actually translated in English language, because unless until your documents are in English language, your application will be rejected or will be refused. You will not receive your application fee. This will be non-refundable from UK visa section. So this is this is the list of the documents for people who receive carers allowances or receive any disability allowances or receive PIP payment. So if you are receiving these payments, you will be exempted from meeting £18,600, but still you will need to enclose these documents I've just told you now, because this is the specific requirement for people as a UK spouse visa application, right? So next thing we are going to discuss about the list of the documents for people who are in employment. So people who are in employment, they need to show their 6 months pay slips. They must be with the same employer. If they are not with the same employer, they must enclose their 12 months pay slips, last 12 months pay slips. But if they are with the same employer for the last 6 months time, they will enclose their 6 months pay slip, and also you will need to enclose your 6 months bank statements. When you enclose your 6 months bank statements, your 6 months pay slips, then you will also need to get letter from your employer confirming your employment terms and condition, confirming your NI number, and also confirming what position you are working on, and how much salary, gross salary, you have been receiving in the last 6 months time. So for example, if gross salary is £18,600, then for 6 months time you need to calculate, you need to actually divide it by 2, which means it's going to be, for your last 6 months time, it's going to be 9,000 and I think £300. If you calculate it rightly, so it must be half that £18,600 for your 6 months period of time, because for 12 months it's going to be £18,600, but for 6 months it's going to be 9,000, not 19,000, 9,000 and £300, right? So you must calculate as a gross income. Also, your actually applicant will need to show English language from SAFR requirement A1 level for UK spouse visa, right? So English language must be A1 level SAFR, or IELTS over 4.5 bands IELTS certificate. If you don't have SAFR A1 level certificate, then IELTS certificate will suffice the requirement. Okay, so next thing is going to be when we talk about actually your accommodation report. So your accommodation reports must be in English language. If your accommodation report is not in English language, then you must actually get it translated in English language. So you have enclosed your pay slips, you have enclosed your bank statements, you also have enclosed your accommodation report, the same accommodation report threshold as we have just disclosed for carers allowances. Also, you will need to so you have enclosed your English language certificate, you have enclosed your accommodation report. You also need to get consent letter from third party if you this home doesn't belong to you and this home belongs to your parents or your family members or friends and family. You will need to get letter from them, consent letter. If you need any draft for those actually consent letters, do let me know. I will email you, I will send you those drafts what I have created for you people. So next thing, we have discussed about the employment income requirement and the salary slips, bank statements. Also, you will need to enclose your marriage certificate, and if you can enclose any wedding photographs, that will be helpful, because I always advise my clients to enclose extra documents to make sure you are a credible person, to make sure your relationship is subsistence, because your relationship must be subsisting. If your relationship is not subsisting, or if home office or entry clearance visa officer is not satisfied with your relationship requirement, then it's going to be trouble, it's going to be problem. So relationship requirement, relationship documents, if you have been divorced before, any of the couple, then you will also need to enclose your what it's called, the divorce certificate. Children birth certificates are important. If you have any dependent children who are financially dependent upon you, you must enclose birth certificates for those children to make sure you enclose the right documents. So this was the list of the documents for those people who actually have been in employment, and I'm going to show you exactly in the form for all of the people who are in employment, who are in self-employment, who are receiving carers allowances, so that you can make sure you fill in the right form, right sections in the form, because the form I'm going to show you, it tells you categories for all types of people for UK spouse visa. So that's why I'm just telling you the different categories. You are going to actually complete your form with the different sections. Okay, so we have covered carers allowances documents, we have also covered employment people documents. Now we are just going to have a look who else have joined us. Jamil Hashmi, thank you so much. Advocate Arshad Nazir, Sayyid Mohsen Shah, and also Advocate Rashid Rajput, Advocate Sardar Arbab, Faisal Shahzad Abdul Hamid, and Advocate Arshad Nazir, Abdul Hamid. Okay, what WP? DWP means Department of Work and Pension. So this is the department where actually people receive their benefits from. Okay, so we have covered so far the list of the documents for people who receive who are in employment and people who receive carers allowances. Now we are going to actually cover the next bit. Okay, get your paper and pen and note down, because this program is specifically for those who want to apply for spouse visa. So this program is not for those who want to apply EEA national family members, or who want to apply as extended family member, who want to apply as a parents of British children, or who wants to apply for actually as a child of a dependent child of British person, because I have covered those topics in my different videos. If you need those videos, let me know and then I will send you those videos. So next thing is going to be self-employment. So self-employment, you will need to enclose your full year accounts, accountant letter, and also you will need to enclose your 12 months income, still £18,600 income, but for the last 12 months period of time. Okay, so also if you want to, so this is like a full 12 months, make sure you get letter from your accountant who needs to mention how much income you have been actually receiving in the last year, how much tax return you have filed, and also how much gross income you are receiving still up until now before you can submit your application. Letter from accountant, 12 months bank statements showing the same amount of money which has been declared in the letter of accountant, and also you will need to enclose your 12 months bank statements for self-employed person who want to apply for UK spouse visa and their sponsor is receiving income from self-employment. Again, English language requirement, A1 SAFR requirements, English language certificate, and also accommodation report, tenancy agreement, title deed, or and also your consent letter if accommodation is not in your name. Marriage certificate must be in English language, and also if you are not enclosing your marriage certificate, then you need to tell the reason why it's not available and when this will be available, but without enclosing these documents your application will be refused. Divorce certificate, if you have been married before, so you will need to enclose your divorce certificate as well. So these are the documents. People also actually can show their saving £62,500 for the last 6 months time. They must have had saving in their bank accounts. They must enclose their bank statements to prove that they've had saving. If they are not in employment, they are not in self-employment, they are not receiving any carers allowance, then cash saving will be required, £62,500 to meet the financial requirement under the immigration rules. Also, one most important point is that income from overseas can also be counted. If you are not working, your spouse is working, so you can enclose the same sets of documents but from the overseas, because overseas income is counted and overseas income is accepted in terms of meeting your financial requirement under the immigration rules. Now I have completed list of the documents. People who have joined us live, thank you so much actually for joining us and asking these questions. If you want to book a call, sometimes people are asking from actually different cities like London, people are asking from different countries, how can they book appointment? I always advise you, if you need to book an appointment, you can book an appointment on video call. So you will find the link on description box where you can schedule a call with me, either call over the telephone or video call over the Skype or WhatsApp, where you can receive your immigration advice from me, and you will need to schedule a call, because otherwise it won't be possible to answer you on WhatsApp if you don't schedule your call. You need to make sure you schedule your call through my website or through the link provided in the description box. So you will find the schedule and calendar. All the appointments are available on my website. When you go onto my website, then you can schedule a call, video calls, where you will receive all the information that you need in terms of your UK spouse visa application, in terms of your UK immigration applications in any category. So also people who actually want to apply in certain UK immigration applications, there are I have created Facebook groups for UK spouse visa with Barrister Shazia Anjum, also Facebook group EEA family member, EEA FM family permit, and also Instagram Barrister Shazia Anjum. You can join me there, where you will receive so many free information and also useful information in terms of your application, and sometimes it's very easy for you people to get together and ask your relevant questions. So let's have a look. Now we have to actually complete your online appendix form. I'm going to show you how you can just complete your online appendix 2 form. Okay, let's have a look. Now you will see some, actually this form I'm going to tell you now. So this is called the Appendix 2 WEF 4A financial requirement form, and you must complete this form. This is very important. If you go on to the first page, first of all you need to download that, and you will see Appendix 2 WEF 4A, and this is called the financial requirement form. You can also download it from my website, or also I can forward you if you need that. So you will need to download this form, and you will find it from my website as well. Okay, so first section, what you need to do is, on what basis you are going to the United Kingdom. You will need to mention in here, just give me a moment. So let's have a look. Okay, so first section, on what basis you are going to United Kingdom as a spouse. So you are completing spouse visa application. You are going to click on to the first one here, and then you will go on to part 1. So part 1 says, please specify your relationship to your UK sponsor. So if you are spouse, you are applying as a spouse, you will need to click on to this section. If you are applying as a fiancé of UK UK spouse, not spouse visa actually, if you are applying as a spouse, not spouse, as a fiancé of a British person, you are gonna need to click on to this one. And next, have you met your sponsor? You need to say yes or not. So yes. When did you first meet? Tell them your date. Where did you first meet? Tell them your place. When did your relationship begin? So tell them actually date, either when your relationship began. Sometimes people just put their marriage date. So if you, when you have been married, or when did you start your relationship, so this is marriage date. How often do you meet? Tell them. And when did you last see your sponsor? So tell them the date, when did you last see them. How do you keep in touch with them? By WhatsApp or by telephone, by letter, by emails, you need to tell them. 1.9, are you seeking permission to come to UK as a fiancé or proposed civil partner? If this is the case, say yes, otherwise no. Are you married with your sponsor? So yes. When and where did you marry? 1.11, you will need to show when and where did you marry. tell them, and what age were you when you married. So tell them how old were you when you actually did get married. So what age was your sponsor? Here they are asking, actually this is the applicant who is completing, so this must be in applicant's language. So applicant's not date applicant's age, and then here you will need to mention sponsor's age. For example, your British sponsor or spouse persons who is sponsoring your application. Okay, so was it arranged marriage, yes or no? Are you and your sponsor related outside marriage, yes or no? If there are any unmarried couple, you need to tell them. If not applicable, tell them not applicable. Provide details of how long have you been in a relationship. Tell them how long have you been into this marriage. Do you intend to live with your sponsor permanently? Yes. Have you lived with your sponsor in relationship akin to marriage, actually? So this is the question they are asking. Have you lived with your sponsor in a relationship? Like, have you lived with your sponsor as being couple, as being married person? So tell them after marriage how long have you been living together, if you've lived together. So next question is going to be, either of you or your sponsor currently married to any other person? Tell them what is the situation, because sometimes people are confused. In some countries, for example, if in their home country 2 marriages are allowed, so they can tell them it shouldn't make any difference, because you know they accept their cultural marriages, but you won't be able to call your second wife into this country. Only one wife is allowed. But if you are currently married with any other person, tell them yes. Have your sponsor or have you or your sponsor previously been married? So tell them the previous marriage, and then they are asking their details, former partner's detail, in the next section. So tell them what languages do you speak, and what languages do you speak, actually does your sponsor speak well? Tell them. In this section, do you and your sponsor have any shared financial responsibility? Tell them yes or no. Do you have any physical or mental condition? So if you have any mental condition, tell them, and tell them the reason. If you have any mental condition, you may be able to seek exemption from your English language requirement, but you must provide a doctor's or psychiatrist's letter to prove that. Does your sponsor have any children? Tell them about your children or about sponsor's children. Is your sponsor responsible for supporting anyone financially? Yes, obviously, if they are your sponsor, I mean British spouse, they are responsible for supporting anyone else, you need to mention their full name, date of birth, how much is spent per month. But you must make sure that £18,600 must be available just for the applicant. If they are responsible for other people, other children, other people who are not British, they must have had arrangement, financial arrangement separate from those £18,600. Otherwise your application will be refused. Part 2. So take a breath. Now next we are going to cover part 2. You've covered part 1. Part 2 is all about accommodation. Where do you and your sponsor plan to live in the United Kingdom? So tell them the address. Does your sponsor own this property? Tell them if your sponsor owns this property, or any other family or friends, family member or friends, they own the property. It shouldn't make any difference as long as you have consent from third party. As I said before, it shouldn't make any difference. You are allowed to actually live in third parties accommodation right now in 2020. Does your sponsor live in a council owned property? Tell them the situation about your accommodation. How many bedrooms are there? How many bedrooms and actually not including kitchen and bathroom. Make sure these bedrooms must be matching with your accommodation report. Does anyone other than your sponsor live in the property? Any other people, their parents, their siblings, their children, if they are living there, you must mention their full name, age, relationship to sponsor, nationality, and their passport number. So next, do you intend to work in the United Kingdom? So yes, it's beneficial actually. Sometimes people prefer to receive job offer letter before they can come and join their spouse in the United Kingdom. And if you can receive or you can acquire any job offer letter, that's helpful. You need to mention in here, okay? So next part 3 is going to be financial requirement. So as I said before, let me just tell you one more thing, because this is very important, okay? So people actually who now this part is going to be in terms of financial requirements. So you will see certain sections. One section is relevant to a self-employed person, for example. So second section is relevant to employed person, and third section is relevant to those people who are receiving benefits, who are receiving carers allowances, and who are receiving disability allowances. So those people will be exempted from meeting financial requirements. So you will see all these sections separately. Only complete that section which is relevant to you. The section which is not relevant to you, you don't need to actually complete that, and either cross it out or say it not applicable and move on to the next section I'm going to tell you now. Okay, so people have joined us. Abdul Hamid have asked again one question: what is PIP? PIP, when people have certain type of either disability or they are unable to work, they go to GP and they actually report to their GP. They tell them actually, for example, one of my clients, he was in trouble, backache or back problem. He wasn't able to work. He reported to his GP. He said, my back is hurting and I'm unable to work. Then they assess how much actually problem is there, and then they allow them to have their certain type of benefits from DWP department. So PIP means basically a payment independence protection. People who are unable to work for some certain kind of disability or a certain kind of problem within their actually physical troubles, so they are eligible to receive a PIP payment, and if they are receiving that PIP payment, they will be exempted from meeting financial requirement of £18,600. Instead, they will need to show £114 on weekly basis, so that they can show maintenance requirement and receive their spouse visa application for their spouse. Okay, Kabir Mirza, okay, and also Abdul Hamid. So I'm sure I have answered your questions. Now the next thing is that we are going to cover, basically we are now going to cover the rest of the parts. For example, we are going to cover now financial requirement in the form. I'm going to I'm going to explain you how to complete rest of the form, so that you can complete it by yourself. And if you need any help, do let me know or schedule a call. You can also book a video call so that I can advise you on your immigration matter. So this video call will only be for immigrants and for immigration purposes, so that I can help those people to complete their application form. Okay, so we are going to go and complete part 3, financial requirement. Okay, So here is part 3 of financial requirement, and one second. Okay, so here you will see financial requirement exemption from meeting financial requirement. Is your sponsor in receipt of disability related carer benefit listed within the guidance notes? So I've mentioned, as I mentioned before, about the and explained about PIP, disability allowances or carer allowances. Those people will be exempted from meeting a financial income requirement. Tell them whatever is the situation, yes or no. So second thing is going to be financial requirement. So here, if you have no children, then the income requirement will be £18,600. But sometimes people who are applying with their children, applying with their 3 children, they will need to show £27,200 a year. So from the list below, indicate main method of meeting financial requirement. So here are the categories now, interestingly. So if you are receiving income from salaried employment, then mention here income from salaried employment overseas. Okay, salaried employed in the UK, complete part 3A. Okay, if you are receiving salary from the United Kingdom, then you will be completing part 3A. If you are receiving your income from overseas, you will be completing part 3B. And also if you are receiving income from self-employed, then part 3C. Income from non-employment sources. For example, if you are receiving income from any rental properties, then you will complete part 3D. Income from pension, permitted benefits. Okay, now sometimes people who receive pension, that income is also counted towards what it's called £18,600. Okay, so pension is counted towards £18,600. So it can be combination actually of income. Sometimes people can receive income from their self-employment, receive income from their pension, receive income from their employment. In this category, if you are receiving a mixture of a payment, then you will need to show full year's income, 12 months. So cash saving, as I said before, £62,500, and also you will need to show what category you are applying under. Here you go, 3A, part 3A, income from salaried employment. Okay, so here is your sponsor currently employed in the United Kingdom, yes or no? What is your sponsor's job title? Tell them. And tell them what is the name of your sponsor's employer. Here, tell them on what date did your sponsor commence this employment. What is the sponsor's national insurance number? It means British sponsor national insurance number. What type of employment is this, temporary or permanent? This must be mentioned in their actually employer's letter as well. What's the address, phone number and email address of your sponsor's employer? You need to mention in here. Has your sponsor been in employment with the same employer or with a different employer? If with the same employer, then say yes and skip rest of the section, go to 3.21. If they have not been with the same employer, then you're gonna need to click on to no, and also then you will need to meet 12 months income requirement from all the previous employers. Okay, so 3.21. okay, what was your sponsor's previous job title? So this is actually section what it's telling. If your sponsor has if you have changed your employment in the last 6 months time, then you will need to show your 12 months prior to the date of application and fill in all the details they are asking in here. But if you have not changed your employer, then you will go to 3.21. which will be 3.21 is here. Okay, and you will say, does your sponsor's annual income from the current salary employment meet or exceed financial requirements? Yes or no? If your sponsor has not been employed by the same employer for 6 months, yes or no? And then your sponsor's income from salaried employment outside the UK. So part 3B will be for overseas income, people who are receiving income not from United Kingdom but from the any other country, if they have overseas companies or overseas income. So scroll down to the next part. It's part C, sponsors income from self-employment. Here you are going to complete this section 3C if if a sponsor is receiving income from self-employment and they are not employed. So next they are telling complete section 3.58 depending on how you intend to meet requirement. Okay, so this one is category F. How much income did your sponsor earn before tax from self-employment in the last full financial year? So before tax, it's going to be actually gross income. People will be, if you pay your tax out of that £18,600, which is fine, as long as you can show gross income. So here category G, how much income did your sponsor earn before tax from self-employment in the last full financial years? Tell them the situation. And also next one is going to be income from other non-employment sources. So this is the income where people, for example, are receiving any income from a rental property, they rent it out, or they are receiving any income from management of the property which doesn't cover self-employment or which doesn't cover employment. So additional sources of income, either this is in your sponsor's name or applicant's name or in joint name. So next one is going to be, what is your sponsor's total income from non-employment sources? For example, if you have more than one property, so you will be receiving some income from property 1, some income from property 2, some income from residential property, commercial property, any other properties which may be actually in your name or in your sponsor's name. Tell them the total income. Okay, income from pension and permitted benefits. So what pension do you receive? On what date pension first paid? What is your sponsor's DWP reference number? So these are the mixture of documents. Make sure you are not confused in this section, because if you are receiving any certain benefits, then you will be exempted from meeting £18,600. But if you are receiving pension, then you need to show £18,600 from all sources of income. So next is cash saving. As I said, £62,500 will be cash saving, and next is maintenance for those exempted from financial requirement. So this is important section. As I mentioned before, this is going to be maintenance requirement, which is £114 in your case. So what's your sponsor's present work, job or occupation? If unemployed, please say unemployed. Here, if they are receiving certain benefits, they are unemployed, tell them they are unemployed, but they are receiving certain benefits which can complete or cover £114. If your sponsor is receiving less than £114, carers allowance or PIP or disability allowance, then you need to make sure that you receive £114 before you can submit your application, otherwise your application will be refused. So I'm sure you are not too much tired yet, because you just need to cover a little bit more in terms of maintenance for those who are exempted from meeting financial requirement. So if your sponsor is unemployed, tell them unemployed, and if they are not working, tell them not applicable, cross it out and go on to the next section. So you also need to disclose if your sponsor receive income from any other sources, from friends or family. So sometimes people actually, if they are not receiving enough maintenance or enough PIP, enough disability allowances, then this is here you need to mention if you are receiving any income from friends and family. But you must make sure there are certain requirements to actually to meet that requirement, because if you are receiving any income from friends and family, there are certain documents you must complete and get it signed by them. In this regard, if you need any further information, book a call with me and schedule a call with me. I will guide you further in this situation. Does your sponsor have any saving property or any other income? Tell them if your sponsor are receiving any shares or stocks. Does your sponsor receive any income from public funds or benefits? Sometimes people are receiving, let's suppose, £57 for PIP, but they are also receiving some other income support from DWP. If this is the case, you will need to mention in here, and also you need to enclose extra documents in this category. So next situation is going to be any additional information you want to give. For example, if you are unable to meet any English language test because due to COVID-19 you were not able to basically go to the test center and do the English language, then this is where you are going to write down your circumstances, and if there are any information left behind, you were not able to provide any information before for some reason, so here is your chance to explain that, and here is your chance to actually say that why did you not provide certain documents and when will you provide those documents. So here is end of this training Appendix 2 form. So this was quite actually a lengthy form. We have covered Appendix 2 form, which is required for spouse visa application, and people just forget it. You must complete this form before you can go on to visa application center. You can take your documents. You must enclose your completed Appendix 2 form as well. I tried my best to cover all the sections in this form, but still if you are unsure how to complete this form, because this is very important, if you miss out or if you give any wrong information, then your application will be refused. So if you need any further help, you will see actually I will advise you to schedule or book a video call or just schedule audio call so that I can advise you further if there are any further complications in your case, because every person's case is different and people sometimes they are unsure how to do it and how to complete the application form. So in my previous video I have told you how to complete your online application form. In this video I have told you list of the documents you actually need to enclose with your application, and also I've told you how to complete your Appendix 2 form, which is mandatory and you must enclose that with your application. In my previous video I have also told you how much the fee will be in your application. Also I've told you the how to book an appointment and how to go to visa center. If you are unable to book an appointment, sometime visa application center they provide some appointments, walk-in appointment, where you can go there with your documents, and they might charge you a little bit for your appointment, and then they will consider your application. They will take your documents, they will scan your application, scan your documents, give you original back, and then you will be able to submit your application through that visa application center. So which means sometime if you really want to actually if you are unable to receive any appointment visa application center, if you are unable to book online, then you can go their visa application center in your areas, and then you may be able to submit your application all the documents at Visa Application Center. So again, if you need if you need further information, to keep watching my further videos. I will also show you the further requirements, and also if you need drafts of the letters of what you are going to get it from your employer, from your friends and family, and also from your accountant, make sure you write the right contents in your all those letters so that your application is not refused. So you can get those drafts from myself. I have created those drafts for yourself. You will be able to enclose with your application. So in the meantime, I wish you all the best in your spouse visa application. Do not forget to join my Facebook group for UK spouse visa application, and also join me Instagram Barrister Shazia Anjum, where you will find actually so many useful tips and information. I will see you soon in my next video.